bring together a group of remarkable people.
To see if we could become something more.
So when they needed us, we could fight the battles
that they never could.
In time, you will know what it's like to lose. To feel so desperately that you're right, yet to fail all the same. Dread it. Run from it. Destiny still arrives.
Evacuate the city. Engage all defenses. And get this man a shield.
Fun isn't something one considers for balancing the universe. But this does put a smile on my face.
As always, we are Tottenham till I die. Good afternoon. Welcome to THFC, your home of Tottenham, past, present, and their exciting future. With myself, Dermot, aka Dermatron, and with the man next to me, Mr. Philip Brady, aka Mr. Joe Dolan. Anyway, how are you, Philip, this morning, this afternoon?
It was all right till you said that. Yeah, busy. Yeah, Monday's always a busy day here. So yeah, I'm just taking a break now to talk to you.
Look, that's good, isn't it? Talking a bit of Spurs and look. Me and Philip, we're not going to dwell too much on Saturday's game, Philip. I think we've said all we need to say in it.
Say all we did to say, yeah.
You can dwell in it and you can move. You can try to look at it more, but look, it is what it is. We lost. Just very quickly, Philip. Look, we knew we were in trouble when we lost 5 people. Eric Dyer and Davis. Look, to be fair, Ben Davies did a great job. Eric Dyer did well up to 90 minutes, and then his brain faded, and then he forgot how to defend. Philip, look, where do you think Ange stands this morning as he went into training? Where do you think his mindset is?
I know the headline on the banner is Ange's honeymoon period over. It's not.
I think it is.
I regard this. No, it's not, Dermot. What this is like a newly married couple, right? Having their first row, right? It lasts 10 minutes and it's back to normal after that. What will happen here is he will spot the deficiencies that we had on Saturday. I mean, let's face it. I don't think any team in the Premiership could lose their 2 centre backs, their left back, and the creative midfielder, and hope to get a result in the following game. It's just not there unless you're Manchester City, who've got 3 players in every position. It just doesn't happen. It's going to be tough to get through to those players. Oh, not tough. It's going to be easy to get through to players. That's not going to happen again. What happened on Saturday will not happen again. I guarantee you that, because that's not the way he operates. He will make sure things are better against Villa in the next home game. So it's a blip. It's the first bump in the road we've had, and we all knew they were coming.
Yeah,
so let's just take it and move on to the next one.
But I think the honeymoon has finished. Why I said that, Philip, was I think the honeymoon has finished. And I think this is his first real test as Tottenham manager. It's the first time.
Of course it is. But yeah, of course it is. Yeah, every manager gets tested like this.
His methods, his philosophy is going to be questioned on how he approaches the game. And I think it's right to question it, Philip. I think it's right that we should question him as a manager. He is our manager. We can't always be nice, Philip, and say he's a great thing. We also, as fans, question, but not go overboard, if you know what I mean. Don't go.
You saw some of the crap that came out of the weekend there. Get rid of Ange.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, come on.
For me, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Look, you can have a constructive conversation on how good we've been playing or how not good we've been playing. That is fair enough. But saying get rid of a manager after what, 3 months? Is just. I mean, that's idiotic.
I mean, anyone that says get rid of it, we're technically 2 points off the top of the league. We'd be top of the league at this very moment if we won on Saturday. That's how close we are. We've just got to get over these injuries. Got to get over it and move on.
It's one thing for what it's called. It's football. It's from minute one to minute whenever.
People want instant fix. They want an instant fix. They want instant success. It does not work like that.
And not unless you're Man City that can throw billions at it. That's when you get your instant.
That's this.
Yeah. We've got this THFC till I die. This fella, big up.
He's in the game.
I don't know who he is. Hey, I like him now. Didn't I begin to like this fella? He says, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. We've got Wembley 1. Big up Wembley. Spurs are going back to Wembley. I've got it in my bones they're going to Wembley this year. If they get to a cup final, sorry, I just killed a spider. If we go, don't have a go at me for killing a spider. If Spurs get to Wembley, me and Philip will be over there somewhere doing some broadcasting live from Wembley Stadium. We'll have Philip Muller around the crowd doing interviews.
Good luck getting a ticket for that.
No, we won't. We'll sit in the pub, you and me, just broadcast from the pub, Philip.
No, if I'm going, I'm getting a ticket for the match. I'm not going that far to sit in the pub. I want to go to the match.
Well, you get yourself one, you get me one as well. We get one together.
Right.
You can't leave your co-host sitting in the pub.
No,
anyway.
No,
of course you wouldn't. No, me and Philip have a plan. We've got a ladder, right? We're gonna just sneak into Wembley. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Wembley. Afternoon, everyone. I was out all day Saturday and I was following the game score on my phone. When Wolves leveled, with still 5 minutes injury times left, I knew we were done for. Not seen any of it. I would remind you not to actually watch it. It was really frustrating. We left this watch along on Saturday. People thinking me and Philip had a dust up. We hadn't. We were just so frustrated, weren't we, Philip, with the result and with the performance. Yeah. It was just shocking. Big up to Brian Maguire. Hi, guys. Big up, Brian. Hope you're doing well. We've got Graham Williams. Ange, mask is off. Never seen such a naive manager before. I think he's got a slight point, Philip, and I'll explain why. I know where he's coming from. Before. No wonder he wasn't approached by a serious club before. Now, look, if I can just throw this out here, Philip, you look at Arsene Wenger when he came from the Japanese league, and you look at, do you know what I mean? The same thing happened to him. A different way of football. It took time for his philosophy it took him longer to get his philosophy into a club. It's taken Ange quicker to get his philosophy into Tottenham, the culture change.
But you're agreeing he's naive then? Are you agreeing he's naive, are you?
No, I think where he's naive is, Philip, he could, like on Saturday, he could have said, right, we've got a 1-0 win, we're short of players, 5 minutes to go, let's shut up shop. Let's take a 1-0 win. But
who did he got? He did bring on substitutes. He maybe should have brought on 2 more, but I think calling him naive is a bit much. And also a serious football club. If the Celtic fans heard you calling them that, I don't think they'd be too pleased. You know.
I don't think he's being rude. I don't think he's being rude, Philip.
No,
I think it's just
he's not. But Ange has not been naive. He sticks to his principles. He's not chopping and changing every other game. So I've got to admire him for that. I mean, the football that we've seen so far this season has been, let's face it, a street above what we've seen in the past 4 years.
I know that, but do you think he has to be a little bit calculated when it comes to 1-0 up? You know, we didn't have great defenders, Philip. You know there's going to be a mistake in Dyer somewhere along the line. Do you then think with 5 minutes to go into injury time, do you know what, lads? Shut up shop. Just don't give the ball away. Just try to keep the ball and try to not make any silly mistakes. Do you think, or do you agree with him?
I think possibly that's what he told the players to do. But Dyer was not able to control the ball. He kicked the ball out of touch, into touch when he could have kept it in play. They scored from a throw-in. I would say he told them to do that. It just wasn't carried out by the players. And they'll know about that today in training because he bollocked them for it.
Yeah, yeah. No, look, I understand where Graham Williams is coming from. I think naive because he is a new manager to the Premier League, Philip. It is a different league to the Scottish League.
Yeah.
So
But
he is
look at it
still
this
learning.
way. He is. But like, I mean,
Yeah.
we've lost. We're after it was more points at this stage of the season than most other seasons have been in existence.
Yeah.
And so from that, but that seems to have been forgotten just because we lost 2 games on the bounce. If we'd have lost those 2 games separately, there wouldn't be a word about it. It's the fact, it's Spursy. Here we go again. We've lost 2 games in a trot. The bubbles burst. We're going back mid-table mediocrity. That's not going to happen.
No, I don't think that, and I think Graham does. I think it's his inexperience of Premier League football. It's totally different.
Well, he's learning fast. He's learned pretty.
He's learning fast.
To be manager of the month 3 times running, which has never happened before. So he's got something right. He's got something right.
I think there always can be a bit of naivety when it comes to coming into a new league. You're never going to learn. You're always going to learn more as you go on. Every game is a learning exercise. Now, next season,
we're months ahead of ourselves at the minute. We shouldn't be where we are now. We're months ahead of the curve.
I mean, next season now he should be well up to speed with the Premier League. Do you know what I mean, Philip? So he'll have a year's experience. So I don't. Graham, I know
Excuse me, Dermot. I have to take this call. Sorry.
Yeah, Manchester City. Graham Williams says Man City 3 players in every position. Without Rodri, they ain't all that. I do you know what, Graham? I actually do agree with you. Look, I thought Man City I thought that game yesterday was absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. It was a great watch along to do. And Man City have not been the same. I think they've lost Kevin De Bruyne. They've lost, I think, Rodri as well. He was playing yesterday, but they've lost a few players. And Man City are not the same Man City they were last season. Now, if you put that down to being hungry or winning a trophy, I don't know. But I just don't think they're the same Man City. Now, they'll always come good in the second half of the season, so we'll have to wait and see, but we'll have to see. Big up to David. He says, did Ange kill Bambi or something? I don't think he did. Graham said, who said Ange? It's been some people on Twitter, on X, whatever you call it, have been calling for Ange to go. Doesn't know what he's doing. I think it's ridiculous. I really do think it's ridiculous. Chris, big up, lads. Hope you're well. I'm fuming with this shambles of a country. If you know, you know. I get what you mean. Yeah. I'm not going to go into depth there. But look, I've been watching on news. I understand, Chris. But look, let me know privately if you want to talk to me or Philip, or if you need to talk, let us know, man. We're always here for you. But yeah, I know what you mean, Chris. We've got Andrew Gregory. Afternoon, Dermot and Philip. I'm on antibiotics for a chest infection. Oh, Andrew, that you're going to feel pretty rough, sir. Are you going to feel pretty rough? Well, I hope you feel better. We've got Brian Maguire. I didn't hear anyone slagging him off when we were winning. Exactly. And me and Philip not going to slag him off either. Look, it's a bump in the road. That's all it is. There's more to it. I think naive. I think he's probably naive in the way that he's approaches some games, but you can't fault him for it. Fair play to him. I think it's refreshing. I think it's great. And I think, Philip, look, you and me won't slag him off, but we will say when he's done wrong. Do you know what I mean? But we're not going to criticize him either, are we?
No.
If it's a
no.
bad game and we feel Ange didn't make the right decision, as fans, we have a right to say that. But going overboard and Ange doesn't know what he's doing. He's just coming from people. A lot of people dish the Scottish League, Philip. The Scottish League isn't bad. I watch a lot of Scottish football. The football quality is good up there, but it's just there's 2 big clubs that are dominating everything. You can't help that. If the other clubs had the amount of money Celtic and Rangers get, Philip, I think it'd be a lot more closer league for an Aberdeen or teams like that. So, do you feel Ange just takes everything in his stride and think, do you know what? I'm going to expect this. And does he also realise that Tottenham are a sleeping giant that he's now trying to wake up?
Well, he's certainly, he's woken up a lot of the fans. That's for sure. I mean, as I go back to the Chelsea match there, how many times have you seen Spurs lose 4-1 to get a standing ovation? I can count that on one hand. Never. So that shows you the fans have bought into his ideals. the players seem to have. Okay, we got caught out, but don't forget we were leading that match on Saturday for 88 minutes.
Yeah.
And that seems to have been forgotten about, you know. Like, and it's not exactly as if Wolves were peppering us with shots. They weren't. So if we'd have held out for that win, this would be a whole totally different conversation we're having this morning. And if we had the regular fullbacks and centre backs in, we would have won that game. Not a problem.
Yeah. And look, and you can't blame Ange for people like Dyer and Davis who can't really defend. But Davis did play well Saturday.
Davis did very well. Davis was man of the match, and quite deservedly man of the match.
You know,
and that's why on against Villa, I would bring in Ashley Phillips to play alongside him.
Yeah. Do you know, for me, you look at Davis, I said it to you in the watch along, Philip. He was diving all over the place, putting himself in front of the ball. And Eric Dyer, all he had to do was stand straight. And he would have hit him in the side here. And that's what frustrates me, Philip. You see, like, debates, everyone slagged off Ben Davis. But when he got his opportunity on Saturday, he took it. He dived all over the place. Okay, he didn't play well against Crystal Palace. I think he was injured. And the 2 games, the Fulham game, he didn't play well. But he played well Saturday. Yeah. But Eric Dyer...
You're talking about Dyer diving out of the way. Dalot did it for Man United, I think, twice.
Yeah, I know, I saw it.
Last weekend.
I know.
You know, but there's hardly a word about that. There's hardly a word about it. You know, Eric Dyer gets slagged for everything he does, you know?
Yeah, but Eric Dyer, look, I agree with you. I saw that, and it did make me think there's some players that just don't want to get hit by the ball.
That's true. That's and others die for the cause.
Yeah, if you and me were playing, Philip, you and me would dive in the front of the ball and everything. We wouldn't care.
Yeah,
it's shown. You look at Romero, you look at Van der Ven, you look at Destiny, you look at who's the other fullback we got?
Royale.
Not Royale. The Destiny and the other fullback. You look at them. They're flying all over the place. They're in there. Yeah. You look at Højbjerg against Chelsea, puts his body on the line.
Well, it's just a pity that the wrong person wasn't in the flight of the ball when it was there. It's just unfortunate. That'd have been Højbjerg, it would have been stopped. If it had been Porro, he would have gotten away, but he didn't. Listen, shit happens. And we can't really complain. We've caught out teams late this season. It was bound to happen to us at some stage, and it's happened now. Let's hope that's it for the season.
Yeah, and I know, but it just really frustrates me when you see a defender not willing to put his body on the line, Philip. You and me have watched enough football over the years.
Dermot, I know this is what this is developing into now. It's another veiled threat on Eric Dyer. So it's another veiled. Yeah, you had 20 minutes of it last night. You're still at it. You know, we know what his deficiencies are. We know what it's like. We've discussed it ad infinitum. He won't be playing anymore, hopefully. So let's leave it at that.
Can I just say, if Dave Mackay did that, what would Bill Nick say to Dave Mackay if he bent out of a ball? If he didn't put himself, what would Bill Nick?
I think Bill Nick would be scared to say him to Bill Dave Mackay. You don't say things about Dave Mackay, he hit you back.
Well, just say right. Just say for example, right, Graham Roberts and Keith Birkinshaw, right, and Keith Birkinshaw chickened out of a challenge. What do you think Keith Birkinshaw is going to say to Graham Roberts at the end of the game? He would go hell for leather.
I know. Yeah, I know.
Anyway, Wenger won the French league much before going to the Japanese. Yeah, he did. Japanese to Japan. Also, Hadu won 6 leagues before Wenger revived at Arsenal. So, Ange Wenger parallel is inaccurate. Well, it's all it is, because if you look of how long it took Wenger to get his philosophy at Arsenal sorted out, to how long it's taken Postecoglou to get his philosophy in at Tottenham, he's done it at a quicker time. And look, and Ange is one. Scotland is a major league in the world. It's one of the top. It's a major league in the world, isn't it, Philip? Scott, the Premier League.
Well, it's a major league in name only. I mean, actual practice, it's two teams fighting it out for the title every year.
You've got to in front of you. Everyone thinks.
I know, but the end result's always the same. The end result's always the same.
You still got to beat Rangers 2 or 3 times a year. You still got to go away and beat other teams as well. It's not this easy as everyone thinks it is. Our depth has been questioned for the past 3 years. I feel it is some fans who sulk out of Sal's ear every time there's a mini crisis. Geez, it gives me the shits in my opinion. Yeah, it does. It gives Philip a headache.
Just give it time. Give it time. We're 3 months into a project that could take 12 months to come to the end of it. I reckon there's 2 more transfer windows before we have the team that we want.
I say so. Chris says Rodri has been my player of the season for City, apart from the 1920. That game yesterday, Philip, was bizarre. We'll go into
It was
it
crazy.
later, but
I mean,
it was
I'll
crazy.
tell you one thing: that Man City defense. I thought our defense was bad. This is worse.
Yeah.
You know,
You left
really
it
poor.
at 4-3, and you probably thought, well, that's
Oh,
Man City
yeah,
one.
I saw the end of it. I saw the end of it here just when I
Yeah.
was having my dinner. So yeah,
Then people saying, Ange, are kids in their bedrooms with their pants round the ankle.
yeah, that's a good point. Good point.
Very good point. Very good point. We've got Brian Maguire. Wait till Big Ange gets his players in. He's only started rebuilding the squad.
Yeah,
And do you know
that's
what?
it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
As long as he gets the backing. As long as he gets the backing.
Do you think he will, Philip?
Well, if it's inexcusable and unforgivable if he doesn't, because we now have the best chance we've had in years to push on and get a trophy. And if Levy doesn't back him here, then it's going to be back to the old Levy out brigade. They'll be right, you know. And I hope he will back him. I think he will back him.
If he doesn't back him, then do you think then we have to seriously consider where we stand on that subject? Because we've been very down the middle on that subject, Philip. And I think
if he doesn't back him, this is the killer. This is the killer.
Yeah.
It's either sink or swim on this one.
Yeah, this is the last chance for us. As a channel, we've always tried to be down the road middle on this subject, but this is it. If he doesn't, then that's it. We've had enough. We've got David said, well said, CW, and good day to everyone in the chat too. We need to stick by our team no matter what. Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
Brian said Philip is bang on the money as always. We've got Wolves manager verbally asked Sabrina to play in the space between defence and midfield.
Yeah.
Both goals come from there. Ange did nothing to consolidate Precious 1-0 win lead with game almost over.
Well, I mean, the first goal came from a throw-in that Derek Dyer gave away, so that was so that would be unfortunate. The second one, I've only watched it once, so I couldn't really say who made the pass. But like, it's 5 minutes to go in a game you're leading. The concentration just dropped for a couple of minutes, and that's what lost us the game. The concentration level, which have been good up to that, just dropped. And I suppose that comes from maybe not players playing regularly. The regular centre-backs and full-back have that under control. The boys that are coming in just weren't tuned in enough to keep going for the 96 minutes.
I don't agree with that, Philip. I know what you're saying, but I don't really fully agree with that. You should be.
Well, I'm only saying the concentration was there for 90 minutes. It wasn't there for the last. It's their fault, nobody else's.
Yeah, they should be able to concentrate for the full game while it's going on. You can't.
They probably thought they had it won. They probably thought they had it won.
But you can never think of that in the Premier League. You know that as well as
I do. They obviously did. They obviously did. Something happened there. They just seemed to go to sleep for the last 5 minutes.
The Premier League, Philip, is the most unforgiving league in the world. You make one mistake. I don't know. And look, we hopefully now will see the last of Eric Dyer out in January and things like that. Hopefully now we get some of these players out. Would you keep Ben Davies, actually, Philip, as a squad player?
Yeah, well, he signed a 3-year contract last season, so he's there. Yeah, it would. Yeah, absolutely. He showed on Saturday he can do a job for the team, not in the first, not as a starter, but as coming on as a sub.
Yeah. David Sheena said that's right. You nailed it, Brian. We've got Geordie. Big up, Geordie. How are the lads?
Hi,
how are you feeling? I hope you're feeling all right. And as
the only
Philip
team
said
that's feeling worse than we are this weekend.
Yeah, as Philip said last night, you can cry into each other's arms. There you go.
No, I meant to say brown ale, but I meant to say,
Yeah, but you also said last night, Philip, on the podcast.
Get on with it.
That you come out of the cupboard too. So, you're trying to
put you in the cupboard now. Any more comments like that?
How can you get the? I don't know how to answer that one.
Go on.
How can Ange develop a team that has been so disjointed since Poch? Wolves cannot be that bad considering their results against City. I was expecting to see we had lost 5-0. Look, I can understand where he's coming from, Philip. The squad has been disjointed since Poch, but was the start of this problem near the end of the Poch era, and it was never corrected until Ange has come in. Do you know what I mean? Why is it taking so long?
Listen, Mourinho and Conte didn't have any inclination to improve the club or do anything. They were just there as a kind of a stopgap. They regard the club as beneath them. Nuno was a clown. We'll disregard him. But under Conte and Mourinho, there was no progress made. We stagnated and went backwards. It's taken Ange to come in now and try and develop the team, and he's done a good job up to now.
Oh yeah,
you know, he's the only manager that's come in there with an actual plan to actually get us up there. The other two boys just came in and they do what they had and postured on the sideline and jumped up and down a bit and didn't really give a shit about the club. Neither of them.
No. Graham says also Maddison is the man at Spurs, not Son. He was disappointing as a captain at Wolves. Look, I agree with you. He was very disappointing as captain. And
he never scored against Wolves. It's quite unbelievable. He's never scored against Wolves. And he was terrible on Saturday. He was awful.
Yeah. And also, Philip, I said it on Dave's yesterday on the post-match show for Dave, that you look back at the 80s or the 60s or the 70s, there was always more than one captain on the field. If you look back at that 80s side, right, you had Graham Roberts, Steve Perriman, Paul Miller, and who else? Glenn Hoddle. Who else, Philip?
I know where you're coming from on this, Dermot, but we have captains on the pitch. Vicario is a captain at the back, roaring and shouting at the defence. Højbjerg's a captain. Maddison's a captain, Romero's a captain, and Son is a captain. The fact that only two of them were on the pitch on Sunday probably didn't help.
Yeah, but Son for me, Son was not effective as a captain. There wasn't many leaders on that pitch. Maybe not a captain, but leaders on the pitch.
So I'm more concerned about the way he actually played the game and got involved in the game than his captain ability. He wasn't at the races whatsoever on Saturday. He never got a touch of the ball, but he didn't get it straight away.
Look,
I'm going
to slightly disagree with you here. I think, yeah, you're right in one side. His performance was important. I get you. But on another point, if you're a captain or a leader of a team, even if you're not playing well, you should be able to inspire others. That's your job as captain. And there should be other players. There should be other players, right? Just let me finish, please, Philip. There should be other players, if Son's not up to it, should step into that role as a leader role and galvanize the team if they're struggling. It shouldn't be just left to one man. There should be 3 or 4 players on that pitch. Look, we hadn't had Romero. Vicario, you're right. Vicario does shout. You're spot on. But can you name me any other player on that pitch Saturday that could have stepped into that leader role if we know Sonny wasn't playing well?
How do you know there wasn't a camera on Son the whole time? Who knows? He could have been roaring and shouting at the team for all we know. Same with Højbjerg. Vicario, we could see him doing it. You don't know. You just don't know what's going on in the pitch unless you've got a camera on that player to see what he's done. Yeah, I have no doubt Sonny was shouting and roaring at them, but it's just his own performance was so bad on Saturday. And I'm sure Højbjerg wasn't too quiet either.
I just feel there isn't. I just feel if your captain isn't having a good game, Philip, Son's a very quiet person anyway. I think he leads by example more than he leads by shouting. But I just think if you look through the years, there's been you look at the great Liverpool sides of the 70s and 80s, there was always leaders in that pitch and leaders in the dressing room. And we've been so long with the wrong leaders within the dressing room. Ange has changed it. Does it take time then for these new leaders to take root, if you know what I mean, and sort of take for their leaderships to get
both our vice
galvanized?
Both our vice captains were missing on Saturday. That's got to have a problem. So, I respect Højbjerg. Højbjerg would be able to stand up, but we don't know what went on that pitch. You can shout and roar all you like about your players. It's what the other team did to us is more applicable than shouting at players to go and position yourself better.
Getting my point. The point
I am getting your point.
With 5 minutes to go, surely there should be, if Ange is trying to get something onto the pitch, right, and nobody's listening, and Sonny is up front, right, there should be somebody apart from Højbjerg or in that midfield turn around and say, right, let's all stick together. Let's see this out.
Yeah, they could have done that. The fact that Wolves fashioned a couple of moves they scored from, man, all the organisation, all the shouting in the world cannot legislate for what the other team does. They scored 2 good goals. Give them credit for that. And all the shouting and pointing and gesticulating in the world isn't going to stop that. Shit happens. It happened to us on Saturday. It happened to Sheffield United 3 weeks ago against us. You know, are you saying that goal, Ricardo, was down to somebody shouting at him? It wasn't. No, it was down to him getting on the end of a good cross.
Why are you twisting my words? I'm just saying
I'm not twisting it, but I'm just saying we don't know what went on the pitch. We can only assume there was talk between the players, but you've got to give credit to Wolves for doing what they did.
I am
just
not
as I give credit to us for coming back and beating Sheffield United.
I'm not saying about. All I'm saying that I think there is, when our vice captains are not there, there isn't any other place to fill in that void.
Højbjerg is
isn't.
there. He was previous leadership roles. He was on it. He would have been the one to take up the mantle, in my opinion. Right? He's the one I would have thought. But again, I wasn't watching. I wasn't lip reading. I wasn't what was going on the pitch. There could have been all the shouting in the world going on. We're not going to change it. The result is over. Can we just move on? I'm just sick of talking about that game now because it's done and dusted. The next one's more important.
Well, I was just going by the comments, Philip.
You know, we said we weren't going to discuss much. We said we weren't going to discuss the game much. We're 30 minutes into it. We discussed nothing else. So let's move on to something else.
All right. Forwards shouldn't be captains quickly.
Well,
Chris
we know that.
says,
We know that. But
yeah.
Son is, I have to make an exception for Son because he's the longest serving player there now. And
Yeah,
he is a good captain. He's a good leader of men. Okay,
Yeah,
it didn't
he
work
is.
out on Saturday, but let's
He
leave
leads
it at
by
that,
example,
you know?
Philip. He leads, doesn't he? He leads
Yeah.
by example. How he is off the pitch as well as he is on the pitch. Carl
Yeah.
Simpson, good afternoon, everyone. Chat, big up, Carl. Good day, Carl. All right, Colbert. We've got Carl Simpson. We had that game, controlled it. It was over, and 3 points got until Dyer and Davis switched off and started walking. Played the youngsters
Yeah.
against Villa. We've got Graham Vicario has been very good. He's been astounding. But thoughts on him doing better at the first goal at the near post? Allison and
No,
Anderson would have
no,
saved that.
I
Do you
don't know,
what?
would they? I don't know, would they? It was a very
do you
quick
know what?
snapshot. He took it very quickly.
Yeah. I looked at that and I thought there was nothing more he could do, to be fair to him.
No,
I
I don't think
he-
so. I wouldn't.
you know,
I wouldn't hold
And to
him
be
that,
fair, Philip, he didn't have a lot to do, did he, in that game?
very little. Very little.
Very, very little.
Very little.
We've
In
got
fact,
people
if
talking to
the
themselves.
Wolves goalie made a save just before the first Wolves goal, if that had gone in, game over at 2-0. You know, so
Yeah. So anyway, let's crack on with it, Philip. As Philip says, now this is a bit of football news, Philip. I thought I'd start off with the Saudi Pro League. I know it's your favourite league in the world. I know you watch it every weekend. And Saudi Pro Leagues are willing to offer 100 million for Manchester United captain Bruno Fernandes, who I know you're a big fan of. And other targets include Richarlison, Højbjerg, and Ivan Toney. Philip, look, it's what do you think into that? Do you think, look, there's players that have went over there in the summer and now regretting going over there. We've got Jota, who's now been sacked from his club.
yeah.
Do you think what do you think to this? Do you think Bruno Fernandes, Richarlison, Højbjerg will go for it? Do you think Ivan Toney will go for it?
Those players, Fernandes is 29, Richarlison's 27, Højbjerg's 27, Tony's 25. They're too young to be going to Saudi. The only players that should be going to Saudi are the likes of Jordan Henderson in their 30s, coming to the end of the career. Let them have a good payday. Good luck to them. Any player that goes under the age of 30 is purely in it for the money. He's not in it for the glory of the game. Going to that Saudi Pro League where they're getting crowds of maybe 10 and 5, 12,000 people.
They're very
poor,
it's
crazy.
To be fair.
It's crazy. I mean, no, it's madness. It's madness. And I'll just show you what they were about. I wouldn't mind if Fernandes would just get him out of the league, the Mona and Mini. He's the most hateful player in the Premiership. To get rid of him.
You love him rarely. You love him rarely.
Tony will go to Arsenal. Højbjerg's going nowhere. And Richarlison, it wouldn't surprise me if Richarlison went, though, to be honest with you. And I wouldn't mind if he did, providing we got in a decent replacement. But let's see how he is when he comes back from his surgery.
Yeah. I think Bruno Fernandes won't. I think Ivan Toney might. It's the money. It's the lure of the money, Philip. They can earn,
money.
They can earn probably in a week what would take them a couple of months or a year to earn over here, or a couple of months.
That's all it is. It's not for the standard of the football, that's for sure. But it's just sports washing. It's Saudi spending the money, the real-gotten gains on sport. And no, I'd be very, very, very annoyed if
it's just something.
Any player under 30 that goes there is no.
Yeah, just look at that last comment there, Philip, if you can, and just let
Graham,
me know. Don't read it out.
Yeah, it's absolutely right. He's spot on.
Do you want me to bring it up?
Absolutely spot on. Yeah, he's spot on.
I
totally agree with you, Graham.
Yeah, this Saudi sports washing is an extremely dangerous political game. This is going to be huge trouble in the future when Saudis will interfere in our cultural matters through sports. What's that?
The hegemony. They're trying to get into the Champions League. They're trying to get their team. They're trying to overtake world sport, basically.
Yeah,
or take over world sport, and someone has to stop and stand up to them. And these players going to them is only giving them fuel to the fire. Oh, we've attracted all these top players.
So you're saying that someone's got to stand up to them, Philip, right? We know how corrupt FIFA is. We know how publicly corrupt UEFA is.
Yeah.
The Premier League cannot do it by itself, or all the leagues can't do it by themselves. Does there have to be an organization of all the football leagues all get together and say, right, we're going to put a stop to this? Because you know
You can't do that,
UEFA and
Dermot.
FIFA are corrupt.
Yeah, but you can't do that. There is an organization. It's called UEFA and FIFA. You can't form another one. It won't be a recognized body, so it'll have no power whatsoever.
Yeah,
You've got to tell FIFA and UEFA, get your act together and stop these boys doing what they're doing. Never mind the brown envelopes. Do what they're told.
But you know full well, you know how corrupt FIFA is, right? We've seen programs on how corrupt the previous president was, apparently. You look at UEFA. If they're not going to do the job, Philip, what does the Premier League and other football leagues have to do? If UEFA isn't going to do the job, what do you do? Where do you go with this? Because
you can't, Dermot. You can't. You've got to rely on your organised body to do the job for you. You cannot form a third body which will not be recognised by anybody. It will have absolutely no power, and will probably ending up being more corrupt than the two that's already there. So, you have to hope that the two that are there already do what their charters tell them to do, and never mind taking backhanders. Do what's good for the game and not what's good for their bank balance.
Yeah. So does there have to be a root and branch of UEFA or FIFA, like a complete?
Well, there's been a root. They tried with FIFA. We don't know about UEFA. We assume there's something wrong there as well, but they've got to see the danger that's coming in the future from the Saudi thing, and they've got to nip it in the bud before it gets too ingrained and can't get rid of it.
And is there a problem that if they don't, that they could come in and offer the Premier League an amount of money that it's too, you can't turn it down? Could that be a problem in the future?
It could be, but I can't see the Premier League selling out to Saudi. There'll be absolute fighting in the streets over that. That could never happen. It could never happen. They might take over individual clubs that they've done already, but to take over a complete takeover of the Premiership, no, it's not. That would never be allowed to happen. Right. I don't think the government would allow it to happen anyway. There'd be a competitions authority thing. They wouldn't be allowed to do it.
So there's my point, Philip, on FIFA and UEFA very quickly. I just want to get this right. If UEFA and FIFA are being told to sort their own house out, can any governments or any higher body, I mean, what can governments do anything? Can governments now get involved? So who, if you got FIFA and UEFA, FIFA is the main governing body of world football, UEFA is the governing body of European football, right? Yeah. So who is there? Should we have this when it comes in? Should there be an independent an independent body, right, that looks into FIFA and all the other governing bodies for corruption and that? Should there be something like that? Because you can't trust FIFA to clean their own house up, Philip. You know that as well as I do.
The only body that might have some influence is the European Union, the European side of things. They might be able to bring in some legislation to stop what's happening. As regards UEFA as FIFA, I don't think so, because that's a worldwide thing. You've got too many different entities there. At least in Europe, the European Union might be able to do something, but that's that they want to get involved. They probably won't want to get involved in that. But it's only if there's a takeover by Saudis of all the major leagues in Europe, then they may have a go at it.
Do you know, it's really sad, isn't it, Philip, that corruption has really taken our sport, is really rampant in our sport, isn't it?
It's money. Listen, back in the 60s when there was no money in football apart from the gate money, this would never happen. It's the TV money and it's the sponsorship money and it's the image rights and everything. It's going to be the downfall of the game in the end. It's nearly caused the Italian and Spanish leagues to go into a meltdown. And if the TV money ever stopped being at the level it's at the minute, the Premiership would be next. You know, it's just money is the root of all evil on this one, really. You know,
it is. I've got loads of chat. We've got Chris saying here, UEFA Champions League is a load of nonsense. Name anyway. Most teams in there ain't champions.
Well, that's
very
true.
quickly,
That's true.
Very quickly, Philip. Should they go back to the European Cup? If people don't remember, before the Champions League, it was the European Cup, and what was it? Only champions.
Only the champions. Only the champions. Yeah. No, they'll never go back to that. But I'll tell you why. They're making too much money. Again, money is the problem. Like in that old format, you maybe had, say, 25, 30 matches a season. How many have you got now? A couple of hundred. Money. Again.
Graham says Graham's making really good points here, Philip. He really is. Saudis are spending big into the IPL to the cricket league in India, which is bigger than the English Premier League in terms of revenue. I did hear
the Indians absolutely crazy about. I mean, I watched the IPL now. The crowds they get is incredible, and that's an easy move for them. That's a much easier way. Slip in the back door in the IPL. Nobody will notice. Whereas then they would notice if you took over the Premiership. That's for sure.
We've got David Schindler says mainland European clubs are broke. They are compromised, have been for years. That's the problem. You look at when I was growing up, Philip, right? The Italian league was everyone went to the Italian league. All the English players went to the Italian league. You look at the transfer, David Platt, Paul Gascoigne, Gary Lineker went to Barcelona. So do you know what I mean? Went to the European leagues. You look at it now, the Italian league's broke. So it's a Spanish league. It's shocking. Has football now gone down a road it cannot come back from when it comes with money?
It'll only come back if the major funding sources dry up. Right? As long as Sky keep pumping their billions into it, as long as TNT or whoever it is else, and there's also all the sponsors of the clubs and the sportswear, the Pumas and the Nikes and all that. If they stop pumping money in, then football will go back to grassroots.
Yeah.
But until that happens, it's just going to keep getting richer and richer. Some clubs are going to get richer and richer.
Yeah. And is that the problem, Philip, that some clubs are getting richer and richer and other clubs are getting poorer and poorer and going out of business?
Well, I mean, if a club isn't in Europe, they're not benefiting from the European money. Because the clubs that are in Europe are the rich ones. The ones that aren't in Europe are the ones that are struggling. And
just one question on this, just Premier League, just on its own. Does the Premier League have to is the pyramid in English football right? Or does that need to be readjusted? Because of the smaller clubs, say in League Two, are going to the wall. There isn't enough money trickling down from the Premier League down to League Two sides. Do you think there has to be a restructure of the pyramid in English football, or do you think it's fine as it is?
They can't restructure the pyramid, but I'll tell you what has caused the problem for lower league teams. Before, lower league teams used to sell their players on to the big teams. That's how they got their revenue. That's not happening so much now because players are buying players abroad and they're not coming up from the lower leagues. And that's what the biggest problem for the lower league teams. It's lack of transfer revenue. Although the gates are pretty good, and they do get some subsidies. But, you can have a player, like Scunthorpe United might have a player that sell to Chelsea or Tottenham for £2 million. That's them sorted for the next year. That's not happening anymore.
So how do you sort that, Philip? You can't put an embargo on buying European players, but do you put in a rule in that only every Premier League club can only have a certain amount of players from Europe that are not English or Scottish or Irish?
That would probably be challenged in the courts. But you see, Brexit has also caused a problem now. In so much as when England was part of the European Union, things were much easier. Now there's work permits involved. There's all sorts of things involved. So it's got very, very complicated. And I'm not an employment expert, so I don't really know what the way this forward and that is. But I do know that the influx of foreign players into the game, well, it's been great to watch, and there's been great players coming in. It's been detrimental to the overall financial health of a lot of the lower league teams, and that's going to continue until such time as it doesn't.
Yeah. Boris Brett says, well, the other football leagues won't really care as much since they're already the eyes. The Prem is far worse league to side with over the Saudis. You've got Chris saying this has opened up a can of worms. So it's opened up great talking points between everyone, to be fair, Philip. European Super League will happen, lads. I wanted to ask Philip that in a minute, actually. I was coming on to that, by the way. This nonsense that it's been stopped and dead when it hasn't been coming. By the way, we already have a European Super League called the Premier League. We always forget about that. Philip, look, we all outraged when the European Super League first happened a couple of years ago. There was fans protesting. You look at Chelsea, Man United, Tottenham, Liverpool, all have to go with their owners. All the owners then had to come out and grovel. Our owner didn't grovel. Our Levy didn't do anything. But you saw the Glazers coming out, apologising, Liverpool apologising, Chelsea pulling out. Look, is the European Super League going to happen, Philip, in our lifetime? Are you and me going to sit here 1 year and see a European Super League? Because it's been mentioned even since I was a kid about this European Super League. Do you think it will ever come to fruition?
It may well. I personally hope it doesn't, but it probably will. Maybe in 5 to 10 years' time. I think it will.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I don't want it to, but it'll just progress to that way. The big clubs will get bigger. They won't want to be playing the likes of Luton Town and Sheffield United. They want to be playing Real Madrid and Barcelona every week, and that's the way it's going to go. You know, it's natural progression. It'll, excuse me, it'll happen. And what'll happen when that happens, then you mentioned earlier about the lower league teams going out of business. There'll be an absolute avalanche of them going out of business once the Super League starts. Because nobody will want to watch lower league football. It's going to be terrible.
Some of the standards quite good down there, Philip. I watched some non-league stuff and the Nation League, and it's really some good stuff down there. Chris says,
it's gonna.
Sorry, go on.
No, it's going to be a casualty of the Super League if it happens.
Yeah, I think so. As for Charles, is this Derek King or Charles? Is that?
I don't know.
Is that who he's on about? Anyway, as for Charles saying independent regulator in football in his nonsense speech, oh please, he knows nothing about anything apart from having afternoon tea in the building palace.
Oh, he knows about horses.
He knows about talking to plants as well, apparently.
He knows about horses if he married one.
I don't like this in football, but in terms of boxing, I like it because it gets fights made. Yeah, exactly. They're very big into football, the Saudis, but they are getting the big fights made. So I suppose it's horses for courses. Carl says European clubs like in Serie A and La Liga have not got a pot to piss in. No. It's why they're desperately charged the earth for these players. Yeah, exactly. How can a club like Barcelona, Philip, right, who are close to going out the wall, still spend money they're spending? It's mind-boggling.
They've sold their TV rights for the next 100 years at a fraction of what they're worth just to get cash in to do this. Barcelona are heading for a big fall. They're after rebuilding their stadium as well. What they use for money, apart from that, I just don't know.
No. Boris Britt says the only reason that European Super League didn't happen was because how much it would cost fans to travel to other parts of Europe to watch the teams play. No other reason. He's got a point there, Philip.
Can
you imagine, right, you and me saying, right, Tuesday night, Philip, we've got Tottenham against Barcelona at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But Saturday, we've got Tottenham against, I don't know,
Accrington Stanley.
Stanley. Now, which game are you going to go to?
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's another. Yeah, that's it. You're going to go to the big game and be charged 3 or 4 times the admission price.
Big up Spurs for life. Big up. I haven't seen you before, sir. Please hit the like button and the subscription button. Please hit the like button. And going across the bottom of the screen, Philip, a big thank you to all our members who have re-signed, rejoined. It means so much to me and Philip. It really does. It really means so much to us. But if you're not a member, please pick up memberships, and we'll do that at the end. And very quickly, Philip, I forgot. I'm really stupid. Hang on, let me go back up to the top there, Philip. Sorry. Big up to KVP, who become a new member, rejoin Philip for the watch along membership. So he's picked it up. So big up. That's our top end membership. So big up, Carl, as well. And join us for a Tottenham watch along. I'm sure you would love to come on when me and Philip are doing a watch along. Very quickly, Philip, we've got Spurs to life. On that Saudi point, global studies in the kind of any of my subject. Oh, okay. I have more hope from the Indian PM Modi to deal with the Saudis than anyone else, anyone here. He's extremely wise as to man.
It's true. I hope he is. I hope he gets on with them, you know.
Yeah. We've got Dave. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
No, so India is a complex country, and they have a lot of allies that maybe we wouldn't have. There, I think they're quite close to Russia as well. You know,
they've changed their name recently. I heard India. They've gone back to their original name.
All right. Okay.
I heard that somewhere. Was that right? Philip say that.
They've always been India, haven't they? Pakistan used to be part of India. Now it's Pakistan.
Yeah, no, India used to be called something else back in the early years. We've got David saying good day to Tequila. We've got Geordie Champions League and League One is always interesting, competitive every championship in League One. It is, Philip. I love the championship.
I mean, you're playing 2 games a week the whole season to get all those games in, you know.
We've got India dealt with amazingly well with both Russia and USA. Both of them are great friends of India.
They're playing both sides there. They're playing both sides.
Yeah, we've got Tequila as well. Good day, David. How are you, mate? We've got Carl Simpson, member for 1 month. Big up, Carl. Thank you so much. Carl. really means a lot to us. The chief man in the chat, the man that looks after all the chat for us. He is the chief. He's the chief. How would you call him, Philip? He's the chief.
Executive.
No, he's not. He's the chief hitman in the chat. That if anyone says anything out of turn, he puts you on the timeout. So you better behave yourself when Carl's about it. It says Spurs won't be chosen for Spurs won't be chosen for a Super League now. What do you reckon, Philip?
Well, you never know. You never know. By the time it comes around again, we'll probably be back up there. Yeah.
And then Spurs for Life says India to Bharat. That's what they've changed the name to. And that was recently.
Okay, I didn't hear that. Yeah.
Now, we're looking ahead to January, Philip. Transfer rumours. Oh, yeah. No problem, Philip. Do you want
I'll be
me
back
to
in a sec.
do you want me to leave the transfers to I'll go over to the injury news and then I'll start on the Premier League results. Have you got the results from how we've done well? And to get them. Yeah. Excuse me.
I'll come back to you in a second. I just have to make this call.
Yeah, that's fine, Philip. Yeah, okay. Look, while we wait for Philip to come back, look, and this news actually broke today, which really surprised me. Destiny has been playing with the last 2 weeks with a slight injury to his ankle. So he hasn't been picked for the under-20 Italian side, so he's staying at Hotspur away. Maybe this is a good sign to give him 2 weeks to get over his injury. So, look, very surprising, but we'll have to see what happened. And also with this as well, Tottenham are willing to send players out on loan during January transfer window only if there is an obligation to buy included in that contract. They would like to close the transfer quickly. So we're looking at the likes of Eric Dyer, probably Højbjerg, who technically I don't want to leave. I don't want Højbjerg to go. And players like that. So let us know in the chat, who do you think should be on the loan list for January? Let me see. We've got Martin said rumours. Did I not spell it right, Martin? Let's see. Oh, okay. Sorry, my mistake. Sorry. We've got Prospect. Yeah, they're going back to their own name. They used to be under before the name India was given them from the Empire. Yeah, I heard that a couple of weeks ago. We've got Chief Windup says, yeah, you are the Chief Windup, Carl. That is right. And then Carl says, Destiny, a couple of weeks rest works for me. Yeah, it works for me as well. And big up Martin as well. And I apologize about that, Martin. Thank you so much. Right. Where are we going? Now we are going to do the Premier League weekend. And then Carl is saying, I'll tell you what, we need players as soon as hits the January. Yeah, we do. Look, look, we need to be sorting it out now, Carl. We need to sort it out now for January. That when we get to January the 1st, all we've got to do is just do the paperwork. Now I'm hoping that between Ange and the new and Paratici and the new team that's involved now in the transfers, that they're getting their January transfer window in place. I heard there isn't a lot of money, but if you get certain players out and get players in on a loan to buy, which Paratici has done in the past, we brought 2 players in when Conte first took over, Bentancur and Kulu, and we got Champions League football out of it. You just need a few players in. Need an extra centre back, a striker, and a midfielder. And look, I think we've done well in the summer. We've done very well in the summer, but we just need to add to it now. It's never going to be done in one window. We need to add to what we've done in the summer, and then next summer, add to it more. Rebuild this squad. Whatever comes this season, if you get Champions League football, that is going to be a massive carrot for players. And when they're seeing what Ange is doing, it's going to be a massive carrot to bring the better players in. Martin said, nicely corrected. Big up, Martin. I haven't seen you before, so big up Martin958 and welcome to the channel. Please hit that like button and subscription and hit that notification bell. We've got tequila. Send doggy to the dog pound. Yep, that is so true. Martin says, I've always said we should have bought Dunk, Shaw and Cody in addition to Van der Ven. Look, I agree with you. I was a big shout for Cody and Luke Shaw. I think Luke Shaw would do a great job as a squad player. And Dunk as well from Brighton. I think them 3 players would be great additions to the squad with Van der Ven and Romero. Can you imagine if Van der Ven and Romero and you had Dunk and Cody in and Luke Shaw in there? I think your defense would have been absolutely. Hang on. Okay, Philip will not be joining us. So yeah, we are gonna do this. Go through the Premier League and then a few bit of the transfers. Levy says Levy thinks getting the deal in early is 5 minutes before the window shuts. That is so true. That is so true. Oh, the joys of the annual. There isn't a lot of money. No, there isn't. That's what's to be said. And Martin says, nice to be here. Nice to have you, Martin, here. And then Carl, I like Dunk a lot. He would have been solid this year. Yeah, he would be. And I don't think why we shouldn't go and get him. We should do. If we want to get if we want to get defenders that have Premier League experience, and Dunk has done very well for Brighton. He'd be a great squad player, great addition. And I agree with you, Carl. Well, we're talking about rumours. We are, because Tottenham journalist Emmanuel Lewis has named Tottenham Hotspur as one of the 4 Premier clubs who are eyeing a situation of Argentinian sensation Federico Rendendo. Now, people are asking who he is. Well, here he is. There he is. He is, he's a 20-year-old. His birthplace is in Spain. He's actually an Argentinian international. He is 6'2", and he plays in sort of the defensive midfield. Hang on, let me get this right. His current team is called as Argentinos Juniors. He's plays number 5. He was in the youth career from 2013 to 2022. And then, of course, his senior career has made his debut in 2022. He's made 35 appearances, scored 1 goal. His international career since 2022, he's played with the Argentina under-20. He's only made 7 appearances and hasn't scored any goals. And Tottenham are also being rumoured that Tottenham will have to pay around 25 to 30 million for Bournemouth defender Lloyd Kelly in the January transfer window. Well, here's Lloyd here. Of course, he is Lloyd Cassius Kelly. He's 25-year-old from Bristol, centre-back and the left-back, which would be an ideal for us on Saturday. His current team, of course, is Bournemouth. His youth career was at Bristol City, where from 2011 to 2017. He started his league career, of course, at Bristol City for a couple of seasons, 43 appearances and 2 goals. Till he moved to Bournemouth in 2019. He's made 111 appearances for Bournemouth and 2 goals. And also his international career, 2017 to 18, England under 29 appearances. And then also 2018 to 2021, England under 21 made appearances. So he is looking to, I think, go up to the main squad, I think, in the next couple of seasons, I think. And then, of course, this one here, of course, Tottenham are willing to send the players out on loan. Of course, we can always say, who can that be? Let's go through the Premier League weekend. Of course, we will start, of course, at 12:30. The game, of course, Wolves versus Spurs. It wasn't really. Let me bring myself up there. Let me do that one. There we go. That's better. Look, it wasn't a great game. You can see by the possessions, we outpassed them, we outtouched them, we had more touches, more passes, but we didn't do anything with it. And I think that's the problem. We did absolutely nothing with it at all. So it was a defeat. But look, I think it's a good way to go into the international break and try to sort it out. Of course, the lights down the road because Michael Oliver, they beat Burnley 3-1. Again, probably half expected that. We've got Crystal Palace. This was a crazy game. And Palace actually, Everton won it in the 86th minute. Crazy game. Everton are putting some good runs together now, going up that league. But look, as you can see there again, Everton absolutely touches, passes, clearances, everything. They're just Everton won't go down. Everton will not go down this season. I don't think they will. Man United won, Luton 0. They struggled, United, with this game. Absolutely struggled. As you can see, half-time 0-0. It's 3 points, but I don't think it was the performance that inspired a lot of people. And there's still a lot of people saying Ten Hag could be out of a job. We have to wait and see. Of course, then we've got, sorry, Geordie lad, if you're in the chat watching this, sorry to bring it up. Bournemouth 2, Newcastle 0. For me, the surprise of the weekend. Newcastle really should have won that, but fair play to Bournemouth. Done very well. Got 3 points, and as you can see, done well at all. It was a bad result for Newcastle, and then the problems at the end with Trippier having to go with the fans. Look, we have to see what happens. Then, of course, on Sunday, Villa 3-1 wins against Fulham. We've got Brighton and Sheffield United. Sheffield United picking up a good point away from home against Brighton. Brighton's wheels are sort of, I think the wheels have come off the wagon. And then they had the manager coming out a full-time criticising, saying 20% of the referees are not good enough. So we have, look, is he right? Is he wrong? He probably is, but does VAR play into something that? It probably does. We've got Liverpool cost 3-0 win against Brentford. Not really a surprise there. And of course, 3-2 for West Ham. That was a crazy game as well yesterday. And the other crazy game, this one, we did a watch along on this 4-4. It was absolutely mental. And Philip's right when he says that Man City's defense isn't as great as it has been, and it's not. I have never known Man City to go to anywhere. I mean, up to yesterday, Chelsea had never scored against Man City in the last, I think, 8 or 9 games. City had won every game. So, it was bound to happen sooner or later, but it was a crazy, crazy game. And there is, of course, the Premier League, the top 5. Man City are top on 28 points. Liverpool and Arsenal on 27 points each. We're 4th on 26th. And then Villa are 5th in 25. Look, if somebody had said to me at the start of the season, Tottenham would be 26 points out of 12 games, 2 defeats, I would have taken your hand off for that. I would have gnawed it like a zombie out the Walking Dead. I have been sitting there with my knife and fork and salt and pepper gnawing on somebody's hand. If somebody said to me for that, really would have done. But look, it's not as bad as everyone thinks it is. We're only 2 points off the top. We're only 2 points off the top of the league. And look, results going for us. We're back in the fight again. I still think we're in the title fight. I really do. I don't think no one team is really running away with it. And I think it's so tightly packed. Look, Aston Villa are 25 points. They're a point behind us, 2 points behind Liverpool, 3 points behind Man City. It's so tightly packed this season. So look, it's going to be an interesting see. I do think we are still in the title fight. We're in the Champions League fight, but I just think we're in the title fight as well, guys. Well, let's go through some of the comments before we end off here. We've got Carl Simpson, Dermot. What are you gnawing on? Filthy. Yeah, I know. I was ranting about Luton's now. All of a sudden, not a bad point. It's not. It's not, Chris, at all. We've got Martin says, shame Dele Alli lost it, as he would have been a backup for Madison if he was still. Look, I think so. I do. I feel sorry for Dele Alli. I really do. I think a lot of fans, look, me included, were critical of him. And I think if we knew then what we knew now, I think fair play to Everton for looking after him and making sure the facilities are there for him. But yeah, look, we'll wish Dele Alli the best and hope he comes back to anyone. Some say near some form he showed a couple of years ago. Happy with our performance, dominant, overpowering performance. Our midfield was far better than last season, but still vulnerable there. Yeah, Chris, good result for Liverpool, by the way, sir. Absolutely. We've got Chris saying Brighton not coping with Thursday to Sunday. They're not. They're really struggling with that. And I think that's the problem because also because a lot of teams are finding that, and we're very much playing into that 1 game a week. Now, we could be playing 2 games a week when it comes to the FA Cup, but we really are factoring in that 1 game a week. Next season could be a bit difficult once we get back into Europe. Martin says a playmaker. I think he's talking about Dele Alli. Yeah, I know what you're getting at. We've got Chris says keep Ten Hag in the job for a bit longer. I don't know if Colin would like that, but we'll have to wait and see. Martin said it would be great to have a backup play for Maddison. If we're playing loads more games next season, you wouldn't want one player to rely on all time. I think we will do. I think we will get a backup for Maddison. I really do. We've got Chris Welch. Everything will be fine. Dyche is keeping them up. Yeah, he is. We've got Tequila. Nope. So why us? We also got we're just not good enough in the final third, I'm afraid. We forgot and moved on. Yeah, we forget and move on. Yeah, of course we do. We've got Tequila. Would any team in the top 4 be buying Kelly? I think he's a good player. I really think Kelly's a great little player. And I think he'd be great at Tottenham. But look, that's just my opinion. A lot of people don't rate him. I do. So Boris Britt says we're also looking at Juve winger. Yeah, I've heard this. Samuel Ling Jr. in January. I have heard that. And I'm waiting for an answer on that, Boris Britt. I have asked the question. So I will let you know once I get a response. Carl says, no, thank you on Kelly. For that money, we could get 2 quality players in if we act correctly. Yeah, I get your point, but I just think, do you know what? I think Kelly is worth that, to be fair. That's just my opinion. I agree. Are we going to be an Argentinian feeder? Yeah, I think we are. Apparently, we're trying to buy Maradona, but he hasn't got back to us yet. We've got Boris Bitt. You're sure David Salva ain't had a kid when he first started football? And then Keeler Elvis has left the building. And we've got last few comments here, guys, and then we'll end off. Chris, well, Kelly will go to Liverpool or Spurs. Kelly will go to us or Spurs. He'd come to us. Tottenham is the bet. No offense, Chris. Liverpool, no offense, but I think he'll come to us. Carl says Dele isn't playing because Everton cannot afford to pay that. Of course, no, they can't. It's shocking. It really is. And Chris says, I said at the start of the season, if Newcastle don't progress, how will be sacked? Because owners want progress. Yeah, all owners want progress. And then we've got Carl Simpson. We were looking to add in depth, and 30 million defender who is not for his choice is too much. We'll have to wait and see what happens, don't we, Chris? But listen, guys, that is the end of the show. Thank you all for watching. As I said, please hit that like button and subscription button as well if you can. And look, and we will be back tomorrow with Newsbeat at 4 o'clock again with more breaking news. If you want the breaking news, you want the latest news on Tottenham, on anything that's happened, the international games we're going to look into this week. We may do an international watch along as well this week, guys. If you want to know what's going on, here at 4 o'clock every day. It's the best show around. It's the #1 4 o'clock YouTube channel around as well for all the latest news, breaking news. And you please like and subscribe, whatever you do. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Come on, you Spurs. In Big Ant, we trust. Choo choo.